Hi everyone, and welcome to the Red Hill School Free to Build series. This series is all about looking at how we build ideas, we build in education, and today I'm really privileged to have Asher Marcus with us. We're going to be talking to Asher about the things that he does, and specifically about the building projects that are happening at Red Hill. But let's start off by just telling our audience who you are. 𝐏𝐫𝐸 is your company, 𝐏𝐫𝐸 Design, and your interest in education.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for the introduction. My background was that I had run camps and been a counselor and done kids clubs around the world. I thought maybe I was holding on a little bit too long to this stuff, and you know, what is this thing? But now everything's come together, and I've realized, wow, I understand how kids work, how they think, and how they move. That has allowed me to apply a fresh approach to how I see education and what education is all about.
So when we met and we started to talk about this idea I had for a Reggio building, I don't know if it was my idea or your idea, but you kind of said to me, look, I don't really know about this philosophy. I need to know more about it. And we then decided, well, let's take a chance and send you actually to Reggio Emilia, all right, which is in Italy, and that's where the whole philosophy comes from. And then I thought, hang on a second, I'm going to send you there on one condition. If you can come back and you can explain the philosophy to me, I'll give you the job, right? So it was a little bit of a, okay, let's see if you can do this. And off you went to Reggio.
3 days later.
3 days later, onto the plane, we organized it for him to go to Reggio. And that says two things for me. One, that Red Hill was really serious about this building. We wanted the architect to understand the philosophy behind the Reggio education system, because if you're going to build a building that is going to talk to the philosophy, you have to understand the philosophy. And it showed me that you really wanted to understand the educational philosophy behind the building so that could inspire you to build it. So when you came back, the first thing that really told me that you had got all of this is you wanted to talk to the teachers in the design phase, and even more importantly, you said to me, I want to talk to the children.
So we ran such a cool workshop with them where we used my wife's a pediatric physio, so she came in with hula hoops and obstacles, and
So let me just give context. The ground was kind of a flat piece of ground.
Correct.
We'd taken down everything.
We took them to the ground and we told them a story, the listening tree, the looking tree. I remember it. And it was just about how important trees are, and we wanted to reinvent the tree because we don't have the established trees anymore. So we thought, how can we create a site that plays the role of the tree, and how can the building start to do that? So we workshopped with the kids, and we had them painting patterns on the floors, and what came out of that really interesting was that the kids became the roots of the tree. We noticed from the drone footage, this like root system of kids, that was kind of moving through the tree, and it was quite inspiring. It catalyzed a lot of our thinking. Our piazza's now got these beautiful trees that are going to be internal trees. We've got some external trees, but most importantly, what it did was it settled the concept that the building must almost sit within the landscape. So we sunk the building down, and we dropped at a level than that platform that was already there. And we created a landscape of hills around to try and create that feeling, the cocoon feeling of shade and being within the landscape. That kind of feeling you might get in Cape Town, when you look and feel lion's head around you and that Table Mountain wrapping you. That feeling is what we tried to do with the landscape around. And that was in response to this workshop which we did with the kids. With the teachers, we played on feelings. What feelings are you looking for? And they were looking for safety, excitement, adventure. These are things that people often ask, what do you want? Oh, we need 3 classrooms, 2. It's not like that anymore. Nothing, you can take nothing for granted. A bathroom, a toilet is not what it was. How many classrooms do you really need? What is a classroom? Now we call it a home base in the Early Learning Center because it's a network of spaces. So it's no longer just your one space. What we did, which was very exciting, the initial scheme that you had investigated had classrooms at 120 square meters. We brought them down to 60 square meters.
Which really frightened me.
Which frightens you still probably, but the brilliance of it is that we believe, and Sue, who is so on board with this, is so on board with the concept. You're not expected to live fully in your classroom. You have to leave. You have to leave into the piazza, and you have to leave into the park and the gardens and into the ateliers, and that forces an integration of the magic of a city, because you go to Europe and you see these tiny apartments and people leave. They take their dogs on walks and they meet at the coffee shop, and those interactions is what we're creating, the Africanized version of that, in this context.
What I love about it is, as I walk into that space, I feel like a child again. Besides the fact that all the windows are lower, so I've got to remember that I'm an adult. But I've seen how you've created this space for children. It's like little Hobbit land, and I can really, when I talk to the children and I say to them, where are you going to be going? And they say, to our new school. And I say, no, it's a castle, and it's surrounded by a magic forest. And you just see the kids' imagination going. But I know that when they go there, they're going to actually think that dude was right. This is like a magic place. This is not a normal school. This is a place where children, that wherever they go, it's going to stimulate their imagination.
It's a mind-blowing system because it teaches collaboration from an early age. And collaboration, I think, is the real secret in dealing with big worldwide problems. If you think you know all the answers, you definitely don't. And the kid is taught from day dot in this instance that, in order to investigate something, it requires bouncing ideas off other kids. It requires conversation. And from the school side, they document. They document to say, we're writing this down because it's important. What you said there, that little line, we're putting it into our book because that's important. What you have a voice, and that voice matters. If someone wanted to understand how Reggio Emilia teaches a little bit differently, or how it infuses differently, if kids are learning colors, you'd go to another school and you'd find red, yellow, green on the wall, and they'd say, this is red, this is yellow, this is green. In Reggio Emilia, you would never do something like that. You would almost, the kids who are in the group learning colors, and they don't mind breaking a classroom into many different groups, would go out into the park or into the gardens, and they'd start searching for things that are red. They'll bring everything that they find that they think is red back and put it on a table. Then they look at it together and they can say, well, wow, these are so many different reds. Didn't know there were so many reds, and then they're going to put them under a microscope and start shining lights on it. And they're going to watch a red leaf as it becomes brown. So through the kids' and teachers' drawings, we have a mosaic coming through. It's an Oliver Tambo-inspired mosaic. Yep. It has the 100 languages, which is the Reggio kind of concept of how one kid is made of so many different languages, how it's not about learning how to read, how to write, but dance, art, expression, these are all things that must be given, merit and seen as important. That's ingrained into this. And I imagine these kids lying down in the piazza and getting lost in this quite abstract mosaic, for years. So like I say, I never want a kid to get bored or this building to ever get old. I want there to be a different route to travel each time you go up, or you can get lost in a different way and, discover something new every time.
I think what's really important here is that the concept of free to build, the motto that Red Hill has, is not about just building brick and mortar. It's not just about another building that's going up. It's really about building young minds. The spaces are the inspiration for them to be creative and to continue with this building. And for me, that is what is really important about this whole concept of free to build, and the series we're putting together, the Free to Build series, where we will be talking about a whole lot of aspects of building, free to build students' confidence, free to build students' happiness, because in a confident and happy world, we can all reach our potential. You've become part of staff. I mean, I see you in the corridors. I love having you on the campus, and I look forward to you assisting Red Hill in continuing to allow us to be free to build.